In this video, we are going to learn about extreme cases of elasticity. Recall that elasticity is an economics concept that measures responsiveness of one variable to changes in another variable. Elasticities can be divided into three broad categories. An elastic demand or elastic supply is one in which there is a high responsiveness to changes in price. An inelastic demand or inelastic supply is one in which there is a low responsiveness to changes in price. Unitary elasticities indicate proportional responsiveness of either demand or supply. We will look into situations involving demand, however, the same can be applied to supply. Before looking at the extreme cases for elasticity, we will look at the graphs of an elastic demand curve and an inelastic demand curve. Because an elastic demand means that there is a high responsiveness to changes in price, the demand curve will be less steep. Notice that a small change in price will result in a greater change in the quantity demanded. Since an inelastic demand means that there is a low responsiveness to changes in price, the demand curve will be steep. Notice that a small change in price will result in a smaller change in the quantity demanded. Now that we have an idea of how the curves work for elasticity, we will look at two extreme cases. The first case is infinite elasticity, or perfect elasticity. This is when the quantity demanded or supplied changes by an infinite amount in response to any change in price. So the quantity demanded or supplied is extremely responsive to price changes. Because a perfectly elastic demand means that there is an extremely high response to changes in price, the demand curve will be horizontal. One example of a perfectly elastic demand is when goods have substitutes. This is because any change in the price of a good will result in another good having a lower or greater price. So if the price is higher than the substitute good, then quantity demanded will go to zero, and if the price is less than the substitute, then an infinite quantity will be demanded. The other case is zero elasticity, or perfect inelasticity. This is when a percentage change in price, no matter how large, results in zero change in quantity. So the quantity demanded or supplied is not responsive to price changes. Since a perfectly inelastic demand means that there is no response to changes in price, then the demand curve will be vertical. One example of a perfectly inelastic demand is life-saving drugs. These drugs are necessities and probably do not have close substitutes. Therefore, consumers have to pay for them no matter the price.